Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zachary and welcome to day 19 of the 2017-2018 NBA season. If you've been following the channel for a bit now, then you know exactly how I feel about the New Orleans Pelicans. When the Pelicans first traded for DeMarcus Cousins, I was all aboard the hype train with this team. I wanted them to be so good. I thought they could possibly be the team to eventually overthrow the Warriors in the Western Conference. DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis on the same team, best big man duo since like David Robinson and Tim Duncan back in the late 90s. However, as the season went on, I began to grow more and more frustrated with how they were performing. The first few games when they were losing, I would say you just have to give AD and Cousins time to gel. Once that happens, they will start dominating. And I was actually half right about that. Davis and Cousins did start dominating, but the Pelicans still couldn't win a game. That's when most people started to realize that no matter how good those two players are together, it's still going to be nearly impossible for them to win any games in today's NBA with the supporting cast that was around them. Real quick, the Pelicans beat the Chicago Bulls yesterday, and that's when I really just started to think about this team and exactly where they went wrong. Davis and Cousins, as they always do, dominated. 27 points, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks for Davis, and 25 points and 11 rebounds for Cousins. 96-90 was the final score, and the Pelicans are now 5-5 on the year. Not a terrible record, but playing 500 basketball probably won't get you too far in the Western Conference. Like I was saying though, I was trying to figure out exactly where this team went wrong this offseason. They needed to upgrade the talent around Cousins and Davis, and they didn't really do that at all. Tony Allen, Ian Clark, Rajon Rondo, those were the off-season signings, and then they also brought in Jameer Nelson after he was waived by the Nuggets a couple of weeks ago. Can't really say anything about Rondo because he hasn't played yet. As for Tony Allen and Ian Clark, Clark was worth a risk since he's a wing player that was supposed to be able to shoot. He just hasn't had any shots this year. Tony Allen, don't think he was the best fit for the team, but it's whatever. Where they really messed up though is by signing Jrue Holiday. Holiday as a person, really good guy, and I'm happy to see him get paid because he has been through so much in his life, but $30 million a year? Look, Jrue Holiday is not a good fit alongside Davis and Cousins. It's as simple as that. Before the Pelicans traded for Cousins last year, Holiday wasn't looking bad at all. Before the All-Star break, he was averaging 17 points and 8 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 37% from 3. He was starting to get back to his All-Star form that he had a few years back, but as soon as the Pelicans traded for Cousins, it was clear that he could not produce on the team any longer. 13 points, 7 assists, shooting dropped all the way down to 42%, and 3-point shooting all the way down to an anemic 30%. But hey, it's a small sample size, right? He only got to play 27 games with both Cousins and Davis. No, that's dumb. It was clear that your roster needed some severe upgrades this summer, and they essentially blew their entire budget on re-signing Jrue Holiday. The Pelicans didn't even need another star player. They signed Rondo. That most likely would have been enough if Rondo was healthy. For the point guard position, they got him cheap enough. Now, what they should have gone after were some solid, affordable wing players. With that money that they are paying to Jrue Holiday, they could have turned that into 2 or 3 quality role players. But instead, they blew their entire budget on a guy who can't play alongside DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis. That's where the Pelicans really went wrong. But now what can they do to try and fix this? Well, there isn't much. They have no money, and outside of Davis and Cousins, they have no assets. Cousins about to be a free agent this summer, so unless they start playing some really good basketball really soon, there is no reason to believe that he'll be coming back. Luckily for New Orleans though, there is one semi-plan left that doesn't involve trading away Anthony Davis. Write out the rest of the season. That's all you can do at this point, since you can't make any other moves. And then do a sign and trade with DeMarcus Cousins. The Washington Wizards are going to be seriously interested in DeMarcus Cousins come July, as will a bunch of other teams, but Cousins is also rumored to be seriously interested in playing alongside John Wall again. The only problem now though is the money on Washington's side. Washington can't afford DeMarcus Cousins. That's why you sign and trade for Otto Porter Jr. He is the exact kind of guy that you need to have around Anthony Davis, a good defender and an elite three-point shooter. And with Cousins out of the way, Jrue Holiday should start to play better again because they are stuck with Holiday for the next 5 years. Ain't no way they're ever going to find a team willing to take on his contract. But like I said, outside of trading Davis for a bunch of young players and picks, that's all the Pelicans can do at this point. See, sometimes us fans take the whole they need time to figure things out too far. It's true for all teams that made a bunch of big changes for the most part, but only to an extent. Sometimes it's clear that the changes that were made just won't work. That's why you look at the Wolves and all the changes they made and how they are still winning games. They still need time to gel completely, but you can see them progressing as they go. They got the easiest win of the year last night. I think it was the only win they had that wasn't decided by 4 points or less, but even then, they almost let the Mavericks back in the game at the fourth after having a substantial lead after the third. With the 112-99 win over the Mavericks last night, the Wolves are now 6-3 on the year and 6-1 when Jimmy Butler plays. That dude is just a winner. He said when he got to Minnesota that he wasn't looking to be the guy like he was in Chicago, and that has been true so far. He has taken a huge backseat to both Towns and Wiggins, and instead of being the guy, he is just doing whatever the team needs him to do to get the win.
As long as we win, I'm happy. That's what they brought me here for, to help this organization win. I feel like I'm doing a great job of that. I love to get my teammates involved. That's all I care about. Like I've always said my whole career, as long as we're winning, I don't give a damn what my stats is like. I think winning makes everybody happy. And I feel like it's my time to shoot. I'll shoot it. But as of right now, my teammates are rolling. Feed them. Let them get us going, and continue to do just that.
That's what Jimmy Butler said after the win yesterday, and those are just players that you love to have on your team. Butler only scored 4 points last night, but also dished out 7 assists. Towns and Wiggins did the heavy lifting on the offensive end. Towns with 31 points and 12 rebounds, and Wiggins scored 23. The Warriors shot better from the field yesterday than they did from the free throw line. That's funny. 55% from the field and 53% from the line. And the Nuggets would have put up a decent fight against Golden State last night had it not been for the third quarter when they were absolutely wrecked. The Warriors just exploded in the third last night, outscoring Denver 43-21 of the period on their way to the 127-108 win. None of the starters on the Nuggets could get it going at all last night. Not a single one of them even broke double digits. Meanwhile, for the Warriors, Curry scored 22 points and dished out 11 dimes and was a ridiculous plus 44 when he was on the court. Plus 44. That's insane. KD also played well with 25, 7, and 7. The Warriors seem like they're starting to find their groove now as their win streak extends to 3. This was a game where the Pistons didn't play great. Maybe they were a little bit tired from the back-to-back going up against the young legs of the players on the Kings or something, but still at no point when I was watching this game was I worried that the Pistons were going to lose. And I haven't had that feeling in years, especially going up against teams that haven't won much, since those are often the teams that the Pistons lose to. They didn't blow out the Kings like other teams have been doing, but they still got the 108-99 win. Avery Bradley has been nothing short of spectacular for Detroit recently. 24 points for him last night. Drummond, who has also been having his best season too in my mind, had 16 points and 19 rebounds, and the most underrated Piston so far this year, Stanley Johnson. What he does really doesn't show up in the box score, but the dude is just so good on the defensive end. You might think I'm crazy for this, but he has a Kawhi Leonard feel to him defensively. Not as good as Kawhi Leonard, but he's good. When he's on the court, he just causes so many problems for the other team's offense. He did leave the game in the third quarter though with a hip flexor and is listed as day-to-day. Hopefully he won't miss any time. Randolph had 19 for Sacramento. Now that I think about it, I think the Pelicans were trying to become something like the Grizzlies, to be honest. Memphis, well, used to have Randolph and Gasol, and of course the Pelicans have Cousins and Davis. Big men who work really well together. The thing is, Jrue Holiday isn't Mike Conley, and they also just aren't as well coached as Memphis or have the same team chemistry. It hasn't translated to any titles for the Grizzlies yet, but at the very least, they are always a playoff team. Even this year, when they were finally supposed to fall off, they find ways to win games. Beating the Clippers last night, 113-104. 22 points for Conley, 21 for Gasol, and 20 for Tyreke Evans off the bench. And this is once again why I didn't get excited about how the Clippers were playing to start the season when they were like 4-0. I made the same mistake last year, and this exact same thing happened. They're now 1-3 in their past 4 games. Blake Griffin scored 30 and Beverly had 23. That wraps up all the games from yesterday though. You guys can go vote for the player of the day by following the link down in the description box below. Just remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win Player of the Day. Yesterday, you guys selected LeBron James and his 57 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists as your Player of the Day. Not quite sure how you could vote for anyone else, but people did anyways. Thank you so much for watching though. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily NBA highlights, as well as stay tuned for the daily NBA news video dropping later today. But I'll see you guys then. Peace!